Welcome to Newsline. You are watching On Point with me. In the first On Point, we will discuss BJP's accusation against Congress and Rahul Gandhi and questioning the links with George Soros and other foreign entities and the rebuttal of the Congress. The second On Point is how there were no takers for the inter-district buses between Kuki and Maiti zones in Manipur. But the first headlines. Devendra Fadnavis takes oath as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar sworn in as Deputy Chief Ministers. Opposition holds black jacket protest outside Parliament over Adani issue. Army opens fire after observing suspicious movement near LOC in Punch. Eleven MLAs, including 4 from the Congress, take oath as ministers in Hemant Soren government in Jharkhand. As Delhi's air quality improves, Supreme Court allows withdrawal of GRAP 4, GRAP 2 in place. ISRO successfully launches Europe's Proba 3 mission for solar exploration.
PSL 59 promotion यान का सफलता.
France plunges into political crisis after no confidence vote. Allu Arjun's much awaited Pushpa 2 hits the screens. Fans praise Arjun Garu's roaring wildfire performance. And take a look at the first wedding pictures of Naga Chaitanya and Sobhita Dhulipala, who tied the knot at Annapurna Studios last evening. Parliament logjam is not new. Though of late they have become longer and much more difficult and tedious to resolve. In the current session, logjam has led to another kind of a debate which involves the suggestion that foreign hand is behind current disruptions. First, let's go through what the BJP says against the opposition. 1. They have used reports by foreign agencies to criticize the government, collaboration between Congress and certain Western entities. Congress has used Adani issue to disrupt Parliament. OCCRP report used by Congress to target government over Pegasus and Adani. OCCRP funded by US State Department, USAID and George Soros. OCCRP promotes US deep state agenda. Spokesperson Sambit Patra called Rahul Gandhi a traitor. Foreign forces targeting India's global rise. OCCRP spreads false narratives about India. And this is what the leading lights of the BJP said. So let me play out the reaction of the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar, who had his own take on this issue, Nishikant Dubey, and BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra to understand what the charges are in more detail.
We cannot allow largest democracy to be made dysfunctional by deep state anywhere else. This house should be united in neutralizing any trend, any initiative that is pernicious, dangerous to our sovereignty.
अध्यक्ष जी, ये विपक्षी पार्टियों का काम है कि इनको केवल सरकार को कैसे डिरेल करना है, उसके लिए अलग अलग तरह के मंसूबे ये पालते रहते हैं। ये घृणा के शिकार हैं और मोदी जी की सरकार के खिलाफ कैसे डिरेलमेंट होता है, विदेशी फंडिंग साइटिंग के साथ, ये मैं आपके माध्यम से पूरे देश को बताना चाहता हूं। अभी मीडिया पार्ट एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है फ्रेंच का, जिसने की एक रिपोर्ट निकाली है। उसने ये कहा है सर कि एक संस्था है OCCRP, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम एंड करप्शन प्रोजेक्ट, और उसके साथ GACC है और सोरेस फाउंडेशन, ये उसको मदद करता है। US गवर्नमेंट और सोरेस फाउंडेशन OCCRP चलाता है। OCCRP का क्या काम है? भारत की पार्लियामेंट को कैसे बंधक बनाना, कैसे नहीं चलने देना, कैसे CA और RC पर इसके साथ ह्यूमन राइट्स वॉच जो है, जो सोरेस सोरेस कौन है सर? सोरेस पूरी दुनिया के इकोनॉमी को कैसे डिरेल करता है। मैं केवल संरक्षण चाहता हूं सर, और मैं केवल 10 क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता हूं। मेरा यह है सर कि बैंक ऑफ इंग्लैंड को 1991 में सोरेस ने भंग कर दिया, डिरेल कर दिया, उसके कारण उसको 6 बिलियन का फायदा हुआ। आज वो भारत की इकोनॉमी को डिरेल करना चाहता है। OCCRP कोई भी रिपोर्ट यदि बनाएगा, तुरंत कांग्रेस पार्टी उसको ट्वीट करेगी। 3 मुद्दे हैं सर। पहला है पेगासस, जिसपे कि पार्लियामेंट नहीं चला। पेगासस जैसे मामला होता है 18 जुलाई को, वैसा ही राहुल गांधी, कांग्रेस की महासचिव प्रियंका गांधी और संजय राउत उसको ट्वीट करते हैं और ये पार्लियामेंट डिरेल हो जाता है।
एक बड़ा हिस्सा आप देख सकते हैं, ये सब उनको फंड करने वाले लोग हैं। उसका एक बड़ा हिस्सा आप देख सकते हैं ओपन सोसाइटी फाउंडेशन, यहां पर लिखा हुआ है ओपन सोसाइटी फाउंडेशन, यह एक बड़ा हिस्सा है। बाकी यूएस की बहुत सारी ऐसी संस्थाएं हैं, कुछ गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज भी हैं जो OCCRP को फंडिंग करती है। अब ये जो ओपन सोसाइटी फाउंडेशन है, ये किसका है? आपने कई बार इसका नाम सुना है, जॉर्ज सोरोस। ये जॉर्ज सोरोस का है, अर्थात जॉर्ज सोरोस OCCRP का एक बहुत बड़ा फंडर है, उसको बहुत पैसा देता है। और मीडिया पार्ट जो फ्रांस का न्यूज़पेपर है, वो कहती है कि हम तो सोचते थे कि OCCRP एक इंडिपेंडेंट एजेंसी है, जैसे कि मीडिया एजेंसी को होना चाहिए, मगर अगर 70% पैसा उसका किसी एक सोर्स से आता है तो स्वाभाविक है वो तटस्थ नहीं रह सकता है। वो तटस्थ नहीं रह सकता है, न्यूट्रल नहीं रह सकता है। जो पैसा देता है उसके इंटरेस्ट में, उसके हक में वो बात करेगा। तो OCCRP किसके हक में बात करता है? जॉर्ज सोरोस और डीप स्टेट, अमेरिका में जो डीप स्टेट है, जो कुछ ऐसी एजेंसीज अमेरिका के अंदर छुपी हुई हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं अन्य राज्यों में, अन्य जगहों पे इंस्टेबिलिटी चाहती हैं, उनके द्वारा फंड लेने के कारण उनके इंटरेस्ट के लिए काम करती है ये OCCRP। अब हम आते हैं इसके सबसे महत्वपूर्ण कोण की तरफ, राहुल गांधी। आज मैं राहुल गांधी का कोई मजाक नहीं बनाऊंगा, क्योंकि यह मजाक का विषय नहीं है। दिस इज सीरियस बिजनेस। अ मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया, the leader of opposition of India, when he tries to betray his own motherland, जब भारत का लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन खुद अपने देश के साथ द्रोह कर रहा हो,
भारतवर्ष आगे बढ़े ये राहुल गांधी नहीं चाहते। भारत का संसद चले ये राहुल नहीं चाहते। संसद से पहले कोई ना कोई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल पर फर्जी तरीके से कुछ ऐसे विषय लाना जिनको लेकर भारत के सदन चल ना सके, हानि हो हिंदुस्तान का, यह प्रयास करना, भारत में उद्योगपति ना पनपे, ये राहुल का प्रयास है। भारत में जो शेयर्स, छोटे छोटे शेयर में निवेश करते हैं मार्केट में, वो हिंदुस्तानी पीछे रहें, यह राहुल का प्रयास है। और अंत में इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा, शायद आपको अजीब लगेगा मगर मैं सच कह रहा हूं, ये गांधी परिवार एक ऐसी परिवार है जो अगर अपने कुर्सी के लिए देश को भी बेचना पड़े और देश का भी बलिदान देना पड़े तो इससे वे गुरेज नहीं करेगी, देश को भी बेच सकती है।
Congress refuted the charge. Congress says that the agents of Adani defamed those who exposed corruption. Congress says that the agents of Adani abused Rahul Gandhi, and the Congress has said that the Nishikant Dubey must apologize. Let me play out the bite of K.C. Venugopal and Rahul Gandhi.
Which is not at all acceptable, and in the history of this parliament, this type of derogatory remarks never used. We are totally pained. Just before that, the Honorable Speaker is speaking about the customs and conventions of the Parliament, Lok Sabha. He is given to the Honorable members about how to deal with the Lok Sabha matters while we speaking or while we coming to the Lok Sabha. Just opposite to that, around 10 minutes, Honorable Speaker also allowed to speak him in a very derogatory manner, which is totally painful even for the country. That day one on Rahul Gandhi stood against Adani corruption. That day onwards, the agents of Adani, I'm telling the same word, agents of Adani started to abuse Rahul Gandhi ji. Come what may. You people know that Rahul Gandhi will raise this type of corruption most, not only raising the allegation, American court already given summons to him. The case has been taken. The incident of the case happened in India. Whenever we are talking about Adani, whenever Honorable Sambit Rai today asked the question, he mentioned about the privatization of the entire airports.
राहुल जी, आप मानव श्रृंखला बनाया आज आपने। आप अपना ही इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराओगे कभी? आप करा सकते हो अपना इन्वेस्टिगेशन? इसलिए नहीं होगा। मोदी जी अडानी जी का इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं करा सकते, क्योंकि अगर वो कराएंगे तो वो अपना ही इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराएंगे। तो बड़ी बात राहुल गांधी ने यहाँ बहुत बड़ी है। मोदी और अडानी एक है, दो नहीं है, एक है।
Now let me introduce my guest. Ikram Singh Sandhu, spokesperson of the Congress Party, joins me. Anila Singh, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, joins me. Ajit Kejha, senior journalist, joins me from Delhi. And in studio with me, Brijesh Pandey, input editor of News 9 Live. I'll straight away go to the spokesperson. Gentlemen, please bear with me. Both you, Ajit and Brijesh. I'll straight away go to both the spokesperson. Mr. Sandhu, to you first. What do you have to say on the accusations? And then I'll go to Anila Singh. Why such a hard hit back, and why use the word called traitor, Deshdrohi? To you, Mr. Sandhu first.
Good evening to all, and a good evening to all your listeners. You know, if there's an idiom in English which says, hypocrisy, thy name is BJP. And that holds so true for BJP. I'll just take two instances from the history. One is Bofors. BJP Tom Bofors for decades and decades and decades together. Where did Bofors start? It was the Swedish radio which broke that news the first time. So were Advani ji, Vajpayee ji, Murli Manohar Joshi ji, and everybody in the BJP and anti-national at that time, that they were giving credence to what a Swedish radio, a foreign radio organization was saying? Second, the Volcker report on the oil sale from Iraq. Who was the investors in that Volcker committee? Again, American money. Again, the whole BJP tom-tommed that issue. Again, they were all anti-nationals because they were talking for the deep state of America, as they say it. So that talks about the hypocrisy that BJP has, that when a news comes from abroad, which they can use, then they are kosher with it and they're very okay with it. But when there is something uncomfortable for them, then anybody who gives heed to that news becomes anti-national. That just shows the kind of mentality BJP has. Coming to the kind of language that BJP used, we are used to that language. You know, there's a saying in English again, that a person is known by the language he uses. The kind of language that the BJP use actually shows the kind of upbringing they all have. And it's good for them. If that is how they want to attack their opponents, they're free to do that. We will never use that kind of language against them, because in the Congress, we don't believe those things. Mr. Sambit Patra was saying that Congress will eat away this country. Congress, is mulk ke liye kiya kya? The Gandhis will eat away this country. Gandhis, मैं बता देता हूं उन्होंने क्या किया. उन्होंने अपनी फैमिली का बलिदान दिया है. Rahul Gandhi ji has lost his grandmother. Rahul Gandhi ji has lost his father for the cause and for the unity of this country. I can turn back and ask the BJP, what sacrifices have you made? But no, we don't want to make it a thing of what sacrifice you have made. We have made a sacrifice, and we are very sure that we are not anti-national. We have the love of the country in our heart. So the BJP to do slander, they are very much welcome to do that.
Okay. I'll let Anila Singh respond. Madam.
My Ram to all. And I was listening to Mr. Sandhu, and Mr. Sandhu said one can know the character of a person by his or her family. Of course, sir, your political party is handcrafted by Britishers, so the character of your political party is well known. So we know that if you say that Britishers were great, then of course Congress party is great. But if you say that Britishers were exploiters who exploited our nation, then of course we can very well understand that Congress party is one political party which can go to any dirt, for its own selfish gain. So if we talk about the question which was raised, or rather I'll say the concern which was raised in the parliament, followed by the press conference done by our member of parliament and spokesperson, Mr. Patra, you can very well see the chronology. There was a report on farmers on February 3rd, 2021 on Indian farmers ahead of that year's budget session. Report on Pegasus came out on 28th July 2021 and the monsoon session was on 19th July 2021. Following that, on 31st January 2023, the budget session came.
I think there's a bit of an audio problem with Anila Singh. Are you there with me?
2023 so and so.
I think there's a problem. Anila ji, there's a problem with your audio problem with your line. Let me get in Ajit. Ajit, your take. I mean to say today, there's an audio problem with your line, madam. You can complete your argument. There was an audio problem. There was a break. You can finish your argument.
Am I audible now?
You are audible now. Your voice broke. Yes, you can finish it.
All right. I don't know till which moment I was on
I think
air.
I think you were making a point about. I'll come back to you again.
Chronology of the.
I'll come back to you again. Let me just join Brijesh and Ajit. Ajit, today, if you look at the language that has been deployed, it has just come down to the word anti-national.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, you know, all these correlations that ma'am was talking about, these are mere correlation of dates. What is the link between Soros, BBC, New York Times, OCCRP? The only thing common I find is that these are all liberal, outfits. If India is a member of the Quad, if India has strategic links with America, how can we keep fingering and say that there is a deep state which is anti-India, where the American government is also involved and people like George Soros? It's a ridiculous argument that is being made here, I feel. And yes, it's the same logic. The moment you question, the moment the media questions, in this case, let's say BBC or some other New York Times, and the fact that they are liberals, or the fact when the farmers' agitation was going on and they were reporting, then immediately you will say, oh, there is a link, there is a conspiracy against India, and the fact that therefore Rahul Gandhi, if he's a liberal as well, and he kind of makes a similar argument, you say he's anti-national. I find this, at one time, the Congress used to do that. Remember, Indira is India, Indira, and India is Indira.
1984 said that the foreign powers are trying to destabilize her. And I think that report got published, if I am not wrong. And there was one interview Indira Gandhi gave in 1976 that foreign powers are trying to destabilize. I do recall in one of the, the research which got forwarded to me.
It's a similar thing. When the government is paranoid, they immediately sort of, deflect it to foreign conspiracy.
Ajit, I don't see, generally when I deal with such political debates, I see it from the perspective of political benefit, How does it affect political parties? Because right or wrong in politics is always about benefit. Those moral high grounds is left for those who write on it. So, Brijesh, my question to you is that this form of counter-attack which has Bharatiya Janata Party is launched, because Congress was out on the premises between the two houses, the new one and the old one, protesting on Adani, and there was a sort of a counter political assault by Bharatiya Janata Party, Kiran Rijiju's bite, then the suo moto obviously Vice President is a constitutional figure, I will not include him in it, but Sambit Patra spoke. So is there a reason behind it? Is there logic? Do you think that they would benefit by this sort of a political attack?
Well, I think, if you take into consideration the report which has come by Mediaport, it did give BJP a very good opportunity to deflect all the accusations which have been leveled against them. See the reports on Adani. Now they're saying that, Mediaport is saying that OCCRP, whose report, Congress has used, and every party uses it. So I'm not going to take that one party uses foreign press to target the government in the day. But it has come in handy for them because, Rahul Gandhi has been using Adani or been attacking on Adani, clubbing him with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and saying that they are one. The BJP today found with the Mediaport report saying that, it is not new. Like, they have been linking George Soros and his politics and all with Rahul Gandhi and with Congress party for a very long time. So today when this report came, or yesterday when this report came, it gave BJP an advantage to hit back at the Congress.
So are you saying that ये Adani campaign का तगड़ा जवाब था?
I think, by doing this, they can tell their people, basically the voters and people at large, that, this is how it has happened. Basically, all the reports which has come out in the public and is being used by the Congress party is basically, a conglomeration or a combination of XYZ getting together only to target Prime Minister Modi because they are, they want to create a disturbance, some sort of disturbance in the government. But I think, if you go by the BJP voter, I think what Mediaport report says will appeal to them definitely.
So, this brings me to the larger question, and we'll come to it after a break, and then it straight away goes to Ikram Singh Sandhu and Anila Singh. Is it about my narrative versus your narrative, my truth versus your truth? Because the functioning in Parliament is not normal, and it's not going to be the stable. I don't think even with the 99 which the Congress has, or the 241 which Bharatiya Janata Party has, I don't think it's going to be stable, but I'll be back after a short break.
You remember when someone had hit our car? I had got him to pay up for all the damage.
Yeah, so?
If something goes wrong in this guaranteed return share, I will complain to the exchange and get full compensation. See, there's an agreement.
Dad, you know what? Nobody can promise guaranteed high returns in the share market. Such illegal schemes are sheer fraud. The exchange will not give any compensation for these. That agreement is also useless.
सोच कर, समझ कर, invest कर.
ये किसान की मजबूरी है इसको जलाना बिल्कुल नहीं चाहता।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट का आदेश का पालन करें, हम कानून के दायरे में रहकर काम करें, लेकिन हमारे लिए तो नहीं कोई कर रहा।
There is no wind in the city to blow it all away. The air cannot rise high enough to disperse. So everything gets trapped. And that's the reason why every winter we see pollution levels spiraling out of control.
If I zoom down from, the global findings to the national level findings, what we really see is that air pollution continues to be the greatest external threat to human life expectancy.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Now let me go across to Ikram Singh Sandhu. So I have two questions to you, and then I'll go to Anila Singh. One, why is Congress turning into a one-issue party? It's like pre-2019 Rafale when Congress stuck to one issue. And secondly, even your alliance partners these days are not on board. Some of them want a discussion on Sambal. Then why Congress insist on working up on just one issue?
I think I'll answer your question, but before just give me 30 seconds. We were in bed with the Britishers. I'll just tell her respectfully that the BJP and their forefathers were in bed with the Britishers. When the Quit India movement happened, Mr. Golwalkar wrote a letter to to the then Viceroy saying that we do not support this movement and we are very happy under the rule of the Britishers. So let's set the record straight, who was and who was not in bed with the Britishers, who supported and who opposed the Britishers. One for that. Now coming to your question. No, we are not a one-issue party, but there are certain issues which are very important and we cannot let this government just, ignore it and move on as if everything is hunky-dory and it's business as usual. The Adani issue, the Modani issue is a very big issue. And every day news on the same comes out. How rules have been twisted, how one business house has been disproportionately helped, how somebody who was a billionaire, but somebody 622nd in the list of billionaires in the world in 2014, moved to the second position on that same list in 7 to 8 years. All these questions beg an answer. Because if we do not get an answer for this question, we will not remain a functional democracy. Then we will just become an anarchy, that anything and everything goes on and there are no questions to be asked, no answers to be given, and we move on to the next thing. Tell me, if we do not push on the Adani issue, tomorrow if another issue of same proportion of corruption comes, you will have a precedence that, look, the Adani issue came, but things were back to normal, Parliament functioned the way it was, you went away with your business, laws were discussed. So let's just brush this under the carpet too. That is now not how a democracy works. And I'll just remind my friends from BJP, it was their leader, Mr. Arun Jaitley, who said it's the right of the opposition to disrupt Parliament and see to it that discussions on the right issues are held. And the primacy is of the ruling party to see to it that the issues brought up by the oppositions are answered, and only then Parliament can function correctly and truthfully, and that is what parliamentary democracy is all about. So again, I'll just say that they can today turn around and say that the Honorable Arun Jaitley was also totally wrong. He was also an anti-national. He was also in bed with the deep state of America, and that is how the narrative goes.
Okay, let Anila Singh respond to it. Madam, to you.
Kartika, what to say? It looks Mr. Sandhu doesn't know anything, even about his political party. Just now he was telling about Bharatiya Janata Party, and Bharatiya Janata Party has been bad with Britishers and all. We are the product of post-India. Our political party is a product of post-independent India. And if you know that how the Britishers created your political party, you wouldn't have made such a lame statement here. And I was listening to Mr. Ajit Jaya because I do not want to give any importance to the statements which has been stated right now by the Congress spokesperson, because they don't have anything to narrate. Today we are fifth strongest economy in the world. Whole the world, they bend in front of Narendra Modi's Bharat. This is the problem with the Congress party. There is no difference in between Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress today. They both are in 2 states, not more than that. And like the latest elections also, they saw such a bad defeat. And if I talk about the Jammu Kashmir and Jharkhand, they are playing second fiddle there. So Congress is on the downhill side. And secondly, I was listening to Mr. Ajit Jha, and he said that whatever these statements has been given by the Bharatiya Janata Party member of Parliament, this is bizarre and this shouldn't be. And then he stated about the how liberal Rahul Gandhi and the people, whether we talk about the George Soros and XYZ. So, sir, the definition of being liberal may be different to you. It may be different to me. For you, like liberty might be that we can continue with 370, but we don't. For us, the liberty of people living in Kashmir, the Hindus, the women is more important. That is why we addressed Article 370, we addressed Article 44. For you, like the Congress party or Rahul Gandhiji's party, Rahul Gandhiji's father, not giving a petty amount to Shahabad.
Madam, I have a question for you. Like the way I asked him, I'm not stopping you. You can just answer my question. Apart from the suo motu you take, I had asked this to Mr. Sandhu, why are you becoming a one-issue party? I mean, so there is no evidence to show that Adani and Modi have some transaction, and every time you go to Parliament say that, Modi and Adani won. I asked him. So my question to you is,
if you see the graph of
my question to you, listen to me. I asked him the tough question. I asked him that question. So my question to you, madam, my question to you is, do you think it's okay if the government of the day, if it is very strong and you have a completely decimated opposition politically, you have swept Maharashtra, you have a sixer in Haryana, you barely lost, very few votes you lost in Himachal Pradesh. Is it correct to discredit opposition by calling them as anti-nationals? The legit, duly elected opposition. That's my question to you.
See, when we talk about Mr. Rahul Gandhi, it doesn't mean whole of the opposition. All right. So a person who has got relations with the people who are in deep state, then, and we have got proof and a chronology in front of us. And those people talking in favor of Mr. Gandhi and against Mr. Modi. So it is not difficult to add 1 plus 1. Those who cannot understand it, तो ना जो ना समझे वो अनाड़ी है. We are not fools. अगर कोई आंख बंद करके बैठ जाए और कहे कि भाई मैं दुनिया को नहीं देख रहा तो दुनिया मुझको नहीं देख रही, it is not like that. People going to USA and saying negative things about our nation, people going to UK saying negative things about our nation, saying, "Arey, India to nation ही नहीं है. India is not a nation." So when they fill up visa form or the passport form, when nationality is asked, what do they write? Italy. They have to write India, Indian. So what type of narration is this? So when you see these all things in a chronology, one can very well make out. And let me not speak out. Just now, Mr. Sandhu had mentioned about Mr. Golwalkar. Should I dig out and should I tell about these supreme leaders of your political party, that how they approached Britishers and what letters they wrote? Everything is in public domain, sir. Today is the time of internet. Anyone can read anything on the net. So whatever you have to say it with authenticity, with evidence, with proof. We are talking with proof. We have shown you the chronology. We have shown that how these people are in support of Mr. Gandhi. Why Mr. Gandhi keeps on going to foreign lands? For what? And there he does the press conferences. He meets
point taken. Madam, your point taken. I need to go to him, and then Brijesh wants to come in. Ajit also wants to come in. 1 minute to you, Mr. Sandhu. 1 minute to you. Other panelists also wants to come in now.
Well, Anila ji had a field day and you're just giving me 1 minute, but I'll take my 1 minute. Now she is talking about the letters that we wrote to the Britishers. Ma'am, just bring it out in the open. I know it's from WhatsApp University and you're all educated from there. Give me an authentic letter which is in the archives of India. And I'll give you, I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. Have the decency.
My party is not made by the Britishers. Now you are talking about the letters. It was never written to the Britishers.
You wrote letters of clemency. All leaders were writing letters for clemency.
Knowledge about it. Sir, go and read something.
All leaders were writing
Don't tell me that what Robertson University is. Perhaps your leaders might be.
So that you can make arms which will fight against the INA.
Okay. Can we have some quorum, madam? Can we have some quorum? Let him complete. I'll give you time. You will respond. I'll not end this debate till you get to respond. Mr. Sandhu, you complete your point. I really need to go to Ajit,
Thank you.
It's not the correct thing to call people and not make them speak, I have not allowed Brijesh and Ajit to speak. My panelists.
Yes. Now, Anila ji again said, Modi ji made India the 5th largest economy in the world. I'll use a cricket analogy. The team was 399. एक बैट्समैन आया, उसने 1 रन बना लिया और कहा जी मैंने 400 मान लिया, मैंने 400 मान लिया. Ma'am, out of 183 countries in the world, were we 183rd in the economy when Mr. Modi came? We were 9th in the economy at that time. When we came to power in 2004, after Vajpayee ji's tenure, we were a $0.7 trillion economy. These are the figures. When we left in 2014, we were a $2.1 trillion economy. That means we increased the economy by 3 times. You in your 10 years took that 2.1 trillion economy to 3.7 trillion economy, which was not even double. Had you just moved at the pace at which the UPA moved, we could have been a $6.5 trillion economy today. And that is why when Mr. Mr. Modi came to power, he announced कि 2021 में हम $5 trillion की इकोनॉमी बन जाएंगे, because that was the trajectory on which we were. But because of all the wrong decisions that you took, because of demonetization, crony capitalism, which is so synonymous with your party, we have not even been able to become a $5 trillion economy today, and by 2029 we will become a $5 trillion economy. So basically it is shame on BJP for the mess they have left the economy, which you are tom-tomming about.
Anila ji, okay, 1 minute to you. 1 minute to you, then I'll go to Ajit. Because you have raised your hand. Go ahead.
I just have to say one thing. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Sandhu, please study before coming on debate. You said that in 2014, Indian economy's rank, worldwide rank was 9th. No, sir. It was 10th. I am very good with my fraction figures because I study.
Okay.
I am not dependent on WhatsApp University.
Okay, so fair enough. Okay, Ajit, to you, Ajit. Okay, fair enough. I don't think, I don't think there can be any consensus on any issue. Ajit, my question is slightly different here. I pose a very different question, and I'm not saying what will happen to the parliament. I know you're not a soothsayer. I'm not going to ask you that, will there be a sort of going back to the ages where Sushma Swaraj could walk into Sonia's room or Sonia would walk into Sushma's room? No. My question to you is very, very simple. My question is, do you think that with this one issue which the Congress continues to raise, Adani, has it become the biggest roadblock between India and NDA in terms of having any political conversation?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, a tougher question to our spokesman person for the Congress is, when Ashok Gehlot was in power, he had approached Adani for, there was a rapport between Mr. Adani and Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan. So how come you don't look at your own sort of backyard and you go on sort of raising this issue? Similarly, when, Mamata Banerjee was signing deals with Adani, so obviously she will oppose the fact that you are making Adani into just the big issue. After all, okay, it's true that Adani's empire has gone down because of, let's say, earlier a private report and now a judicial indictment from the US. But why are we so bothered linking him to the Prime Minister or to Party X or to Party Y? Because it takes away all the time of Parliament and it divides the Congress. Mamata is opposed to it. Akhilesh is opposed to it. In fact, I would argue every state government, they need funds. So they go to every industrialist, whether it is Mr. Adani, whether it is Mr. Ambani, whether Tatas, whether so-and-so. So every time if you just keep harping on this and keep moving the entire Congress agenda leftwards, away from the center, you become sort of, a liability for your own partners. I think that this obsession with the Adani issue is hurting the Congress, according to me. And thankfully, Anila ji will realize that I wasn't defending Rahul Gandhi. All I was saying, if I turn around the argument, if I say tomorrow that, let's say, Rupert Murdoch owns Star TV, Fox TV, Disney, and they do a criticism of India in a report, we can't say they are linked with the deep state. See, these are industrialists. Everyone will go to them for starting, let's say a small media group or a big media group. You cannot keep sort of blaming the deep state and the links with that with Soros, which is silly because the same deep state is in alliance with you in the Quad. You built a Quad. After all, Modi ji was part of that when he built the Quad along with the US. You're attacking the deep state. Okay. You're attacking your biggest ally, strategic ally, the United States of America, which is so silly, isn't it?
Okay. Brijesh, before I close in this debate, do you think that in terms of domestic politics, Adani issue has political dividends right now? Because the issue on which the Congress came back, which was least written about, least talked about during the campaign, if you recall 2024, was reservation.
Well, Karthikeya, I'll just take 1 minute, and now all I will say is that has Adani issue paid electoral dividend to Congress? No. Is Congress fast turning out into a one-trick pony in the sense that, obsessed with one particular issue? Yes. Is it causing fissures within the India alliance? Yes. Will it put the government on the mat? I don't think so, because election after election, barring the 2024 general election, BJP has performed very well, and in fact the results in Haryana and Maharashtra were spectacular or rather miraculous, because these two states were like one. Haryana, the Congress was supposed to form the government, and the Maharashtra also, they were supposed to be the number one. Second is that what the BJP did today is that the BJP found an entry into this Adani debate very effectively. They have their own lingo which is going on. If you remember, Khan Market gang, all these left liberals who are trying to malign the government, and this was an addition to that. George Soros is an infamous entity as far as the political lexicon of BJP, and that is the reason why it was used by Sambit Patra and also Nishikant Dubey to pan the Congress with. They have found an entry, and they will use this thing to hit out the Congress party.
Brajesh, let me ask this bluntly, because you have been covering Bharatiya Janata Party for the last 15 years. Do you think that the response which we saw today from Bharatiya Janata Party is directly a fallout of the campaign, or there's the sort of a political campaign that is there in Parliament, which is Adani is equal to Modi, so the BJP gets back and said, well you people are compromised?
Well, Karthikeya, everybody responds from their position of strength. If you look at the 2024 general election, when the results came out, you saw a completely subdued BJP, because many felt that that the BJP has lost its mojo. Correct. And the BJP is on the back foot. The BJP will not be able to attack. And we also saw the BJP in a slightly accommodative voice as far as the parliament is concerned. But came Haryana, come Maharashtra, the BJP has come back with a miraculous performance, and they have formed the government on perhaps their biggest ever electoral victory, if I may say so, and the mojo was back. Now the BJP feels, and rightly so, in their own way, that that we cannot allow this one thing, or the Congress obsession with Adani to make sure that that there is no functioning inside the house, and that is the reason why they have not attacked Congress. They have very acerbically attacked Congress, going to the extent of calling Rahul Gandhi and Gandhi.
They have attacked Gandhi, not the Congress.
They have attacked Gandhis, and they are. I think Anila is right, completely right, that they are not targeting the entire opposition. They are targeting the Congress party, because if you look at the kind of reports which emerged, we saw that the Congress was wanted to go the Adani way, but TMC and Samajwadi Party wanted to do something different.
So before I close in my debate, yes, madam, I will come to you. A closing comment from Ikram Singh Sandhu, and madam, you will have the last word. My etiquettes are in place. No, madam, listen to me. You will have the last word. My etiquettes are in place. So first from Ikram Singh Sandhu, and then from you, madam. Mr. Sandhu.
Yeah, we might be political opponents, but she's a sister for me, so she will definitely have the last word, and she can berate me in the end, and I will not say anything about that. That is how brothers behave with their sisters. Now, coming to my last comments, yes, political parties and political agenda cannot be a one-trick pony. You are absolutely right about that. And you've also alluded to it, that we are talking about equality, we are talking about a caste census, we are talking about jiski jitni abadi utni uski bhagiyadari, all those things we are talking about. We are talking about farmer issues, we are talking about a lot of other things. But when we talk about corruption, when we talk about a big ticket issue as the Modani issue, it has to be brought up in Parliament. Again, reiterating myself, we cannot have business as usual, because if we do that, we will be doing disservice to the future of our country. Because after this, if this thing is not fought tooth and nail, corruption will become something which is kind of normalized. Okay, you have crony capitalism happening, let it happen. You have solar deals will went to Adani, where the rules were taken in such a way that Adani was the only group which was in the running. It is kosher. Then it is something which is systematically and fundamentally wrong with our democracy, and we are fighting against it.
Anila.
See, first of all, we do not want any sort of preaching from the political party, which is the mother of scams and corruption in this country, and it started right under the regime of Jawaharlal Nehru. But that discussion for some other day. I just have to say one thing, like I was listening to Mr. Ajit, and he said we should not take any sort of pagas with the United States of America, and what deep states we are going to rattle them. Then he mentioned about the George Soros as well, and he gave an example of the Fox TV news channel. I just have to say one thing here, Ajit, that when during the Munich security conference, when the statement which was made by George Soros about Adani, about Narendra Modi ji, and same thing is being echoed by Rahul Gandhi. So what we have to say? The same ditto statements given by Rahul Gandhi.
Okay.
So we can make out that George Soros and Rahul Gandhi,
you know,
one and the
madam,
same.
we can all agree.
They
We can all agree to disagree. But one thing is very clear that we have not found any meeting ground, and nor I don't.
There will be no meeting ground.
There will be no meeting ground, and nor there is any solution for the Parliament to function normally. And when I say normally, it means that the standing committee should function. The meetings which take place in Parliament, that happens. 18 years I have also covered Parliament, but I think the template, the entire template has changed in last couple of years. Where the political opponents have become political enemies. That's the change I've seen in my lifetime. So that's all on point one. We will be back after a short break, and on the other side we will discuss how the inter-district buses between Imphal and Churachandpur found